Building a Tenor Guitar Part 3 at randallprice.com. I've traced the outline of the template onto the MDF that I'm going to use for the form. I just made an outline of the template on the MDF. Then I went out 2 inches using a compass, and I just kind of roughly drew a second outline of the form. What I'll end up with is just this part between the 2 lines. I'll take 2 of these, bolt them together, and that will make the entire outline of the guitar. Now, 1/2 inch isn't thick enough. I want this form to be 1.5 inches thick. So I'll make 6 of these, take 3 of them, glue them together, and then the 2 sets of 3 will be bolted together. So I'll have a form that is roughly 1.5 inches thick and forms the outline of the guitar. Hopefully I have it. And again, I'll just cut this close to the line, and then I'll sand down to the line with my drum sander. So there's the outline of that cut out. This outside dimension is not critical. That's just an arbitrary width that I decided to do. This is approximately 2 inches wide, and I'll smooth that out. The inside dimension is very critical, and that's the one that I'll cut out carefully and compare it to the blueprint. Once I have this piece cut out, it will serve as my pattern to cut out the remainder of the pieces. And how I will do those is cut them close to the line on the bandsaw, and then I'll use this as a pattern, and then on the router table I'll use a bearing guided bit to go down to the line. I'll just use this as my pattern on the router table, and I should get duplicate pieces. Okay, just finished rough cutting this out on the bandsaw, same way I did the template. So I'll take this over to the drill press now with the drum sander and sand down to the line, comparing it to the blueprint. Okay, I have my drill press set up again to sand with my drum sander. Got a little box set up back here with my dust collector attached to it. It's actually made for my router table, but I think it'll work okay here. So just as I did with the template, I'll sand down to the line, checking it frequently against the blueprint to make sure that I got the profile accurate. One thing to think about here, not only do you need it sanded down to the line, but this inside profile needs to be very smooth, because I'm going to use router pattern bit to cut the remaining pieces. So any bumpiness that's on the inside surface of this piece, which I'll use for my pattern, will be transferred to the other pieces with the pattern router bit. So it's something to be aware of. Okay, so I have that profile sanded down to the line. Here's my original template. It fits right in there. So 1 down, 5 to go. Okay, for my original pattern, I cut 5 more pieces on the bandsaw, just like this. And I'll lay these out for you to see. That kind of gives you an idea what the form will look like. What I'll do next on the bandsaw, or excuse me, on the router table, is take a pattern bit, which has a bearing on the bottom. Using double-faced tape, I'll tape the blank to the pattern. Then I'll run that through on the router table and cut all other 5 pieces out to exactly the same shape. I have one of the blanks and I have some double-faced carpet tape stuck to it, and now I'll put the pattern on top. Stick that to there. This tape really sticks well. I'll take this over to the router table and cut it out. I have all the individual pieces of the guitar mold sized using this first piece that I created as the pattern, and they were all routed out on the router table, so they're all the same size now. So what I need to do next is glue 3 of them together, and the way that I'll do that is I'll use one piece of wood to pull these all to the same face here. Take another block of wood to get them all aligned here. My goal is to get all the inner profile in the same plane, and then I'll clamp these together, and then I'm going to drill 2 holes through them while they're clamped for a dowel to go through, and that'll be to hold them in alignment while I glue them up, and then it'll just be a matter of gluing and clamping them. I drilled the 2 holes for the alignment dowels to fit in. They go in like that. I don't really care that they're too long. I'm just using them for alignment. After I'm done, I'll cut them off. They really don't even need to stay in here after it's glued up. If they do, that's okay. So now I could even unclamp them. They're going to stay in alignment. So next I'll glue them up. So here's the first half of the guitar mold glued up. One thing that happened when I was making my pattern was I didn't leave these tabs on my pattern piece, so I had the space in here. So I want to fix that. So I just took a piece of scrap from making the guitar mold. I squared 1/4 in my table saw. What I'll do is I'll fit that in there so the edges are flush, clamp it, cut those other 2 edges off of my bandsaw, and then I'll just glue it up in there and it'll be fine. So I'll do that on each end. I'm ready to glue this side up. One thing I found is this MDF really sucks up the glue. first half of the guitar mold is dry. So next I'll cut off these dowels and clean up the glue squeeze out on both sides. Then one other thing I want to do is on these two tabs on the ends. I'm just going to cut those off flush on each end, and then also cut them flush on this side. Again, the ends and this back side, the dimensions aren't critical. I just want to get those straight and square with each other. I'll make sure those are the same width, just so when I bolt the two halves together, everything comes together straight. So I'll do that next. I've got most of the glue squeeze out cleaned off of here, but even though I used the pattern router bit to duplicate these shapes, they're still just slightly offset, not even enough to measure. I would say just a few thousandths of an inch, but I can feel them more than see them. So what I'm going to do is mark this up with a pencil. I'm going to take this over to the drum sander on my drill press, and I'll sand this just until the pencil line is gone. That way I'm guaranteed only just to take off down to the lowest level of the three pieces that are laminated together. And as I said, there can't be more than, I would say, a few thousandths of an inch difference between these. So I'll take that over to the drum sander to do that. I've already done it with one piece. That is smooth. I can't feel any ridges. It's just it's very smooth on the inside. So I did the same thing with this one as I'm going to do with this one. Mark it up with a pencil and sand until the pencil lines are gone. So here's the finished form. I have it just clamped together right now. I think I will drill a hole through each end and put a piece of threaded rod or a bolt through there, whichever I can find. Hold the two sides together, but it turned out very well. It's very smooth on the inside. All the pieces are aligned, and the template fits right in there. So I'm very happy with this. So I still need to build two inner clamps which fit on the inside of the mold and push out, so that when the sides are put into the mold, these clamps push out and clamp the sides to the mold. And those are built with wooden heads and turnbuckles to apply that pressure outward. So that's probably what I'll be doing next. Since I do have the wood for my sides and my back, I'll start thicknessing the walnut to get it down to size, and probably get it to at least to the rough size that I need. So that's what you will be seeing next. Thanks for watching. For woodworking plans, tips, and techniques, visit randallprice.com.